Well, the reason we're talking today is to talk about the FF1. The FF1 is the Ferrophile art computer. Say a little bit about it.
Yeah, the art computer is this idea of what do you actually need from like the bare metal standpoint? What do you actually need to make it exceptionally easy to put art up on the wall? Mm-hmm. Of course, the code-based computational art, this stuff that I've since become so infatuated with.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of kinds of computers. So like a general purpose computer is capable of doing many things, and it requires some expertise to use. Yeah. And so the idea of having a specific computer for displaying art, what does it allow people to do? What does it get to the core of?
Yeah, I think what it does is it allows us to make this particular program that the computer needs to run, to make it as easy as possible, and to also make it, in some ways, as simple as possible. So it's just about the art. So all of the complicated stuff like notifications, installing apps, all of these things that a typical computer would have to account for, the operating system would have to handle, we don't. Like, we just, how do we make the browser as fast as possible? How do we make sure that if anything goes wrong, the machine just restarts itself? How do we make it like self-healing? So when new software comes out that could make the browser run faster or run more stable, we can have it update when you sleep. So it literally updates 2 a.m. whenever there's new software.
Yeah.
All that stuff that if you were in a company, you might have like an IT team to maintain the computers. This would be, Ferrophile would maintain this computer, and you could plug it in. Of course, it's your computer. Like, you can change anything you want about it. The whole thing's open source. But the idea is that it's a foundation that Ferrophile provides that would make it a really good environment for running computational art. So an art computer, I would come at it from the art first. And the way that myself as a technologist understands this art is it's a program that needs to run on a computer. And so, but it's even more specific than that. It needs to run in a browser. So the browser is this really complicated piece of software. And what the art computer is doing is essentially just removing everything other than the browser. In fact, it's even removing the Chrome, sort of the UI, if you will, of the browser. So it just boots into what you might call the web canvas. And then the computer's job is to run that code well, and then also to protect the environment. We would call it it's hardened, meaning that if, for example, the art crashes the GPU, which happens quite frequently, the computer will just reboot. And you won't even know it as a user. Like, it will reboot so fast, you'll be like, oh, okay, great.
So the FF1 is an object. You plug it into a display. It doesn't have a display with it. It doesn't have a keyboard or interface with it. You plug it in, and then you see a menu on the screen. This is different art that you can view. And then you sync it with your phone, and then you can use your phone as the controller.
Yeah. The way that FF1 works now is you would get it. It's a computer. You plug power into it, and the only other input that you would need would be HDMI. So this is a really standard interface. Almost every display, projector, TV, you name it, it has HDMI, like a PlayStation, like a video game console. You would plug it in, and then your phone acts as the controller. So it turns on, there's a QR code on the screen, you scan the QR code, you send your Wi-Fi credentials to the FF1. It can play offline if you want. The primary use case, at least right now, is it would boot up into the browser, shows you an artwork, and then your phone is where you would select, well, what else do you want to see? So it could be your own personal collection. Ferrophile will curate playlists, and then you would send those. Technically, there's a server in the middle, but you're sending them to the art computer, and then the computer knows how to play it. So the computer is almost like, I don't know, like an iPod, if you will, in that you need music, you need some files, you need some art, and the computer speaks a protocol for art that we're also working on. And we're trying to make that whole thing just like disappear. It's just self-discoverable how it works. You can figure out. You'll see a QR code. You scan it. Get just all of the technical details out of the way. Make all those disappear.
Well, I think that's what's
Yeah.
really exciting about the scaling of this. 1,000, 2,000, et cetera, is the way that it becomes social. And a big part of the FF1 is the idea of the playlist. What's a playlist?
Playlist is the core of FF1. It's this really just keep in your mind music playlists. Somebody would put together an ordered list of art that they like, and it could be a human, could be an AI like an LLM. So somebody would build a playlist and I could send it to you. And you would send it to FF1 and FF1 would know how to play it.
And the playlists become social in the way that you can make them for yourself, you can make them for other people, you can discover other people's playlists.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges for us is how do we help people to do what they would already do naturally, which is share things. Like that's what the internet is for. Like you connect people, we work together, we share stuff. And now that we have an art computer and we have this basic playlist format, a lot of our work is going to be around how do you discover other playlists that are really great? How do you help facilitate the sharing of playlists? How do we make it really easy for anyone to build playlists and anyone to host playlists? Actually, I probably should mention this, but it's not, the playlists themselves are also not centralized. It's not like FaroFile hosts all the playlists. This is decentralized. You can host your own playlist, or we'll host it for you if you want. And so you can share these playlists, and they're like the closest analog to a physical mixtape. You put whatever you want in there, you share it with a friend, they send it to their FF1, and now they can interact with it.
Yeah. You and I are both really influenced by the early web, the 1990s web, where things felt possible. It didn't feel like things were predetermined. It felt like we could invent what we imagined. How is this moment similar?
Digital art, specifically where we are now with blockchain, it really, really feels like the early web to me, late 90s web. It feels like there's, again, this chance of making radically different ecosystems, organizing people together in ways that are just completely new, extremely excited, but also very grounded in history. The web was grounded in ideas from the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, like all of these ideas of people connecting with one another, physicists sharing information. That was Tim Berners-Lee, right? And I love the energy in the art community, people that are working with software, people that are working with digital files. I just love that energy. And I think we need something like an early web moment where there's better tools, there's better protocols, and we leave them open. There's not a tech company that says, hey, come join my new social network, come join my new product. That instead it's actually a tool that we put out there, a protocol that we put out there. And so to me, it's like, let's take what we know that was really, really exciting about that period, but then let's fully embrace the markets and all of the authenticity, the provenance part that blockchains enable. And let's kind of bring these together and make a computer that can, because like at the end of the day, we are like physical, like we like physical things. So let's make a computer that can take the digital technology and transform the material world. Like bring it off the internet, put it on the wall, but do so in a way that feels like those very exploratory, very experimental phase where anything is possible. If you have an idea, you can go prototype it, you can go experiment with it, you can try it. You don't have to ask permission.
Right. Yeah. And it's an infrastructure that can be extended, that's highly adaptable. It's not monolithic. It doesn't express like one point of view. It can really evolve and adjust for different needs of different communities.
Yeah, And to be clear, like we're really standing on shoulders of giants. Like it's built on Linux. It's very the computer is built on Linux. The protocol uses these kind of early web, late 90s RSS, podcasting, all of this stuff. It uses that ethos.
It's an open source, open standards project that's built on top of a lineage of open source, open standards.
That's right. That's right. And it's built for the purpose of art.
Yes.